Welcome to Best Kept Secrets Travel bonus episode. I guess, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a bonus episode.
Oh yeah. My name's Morgan.
My name's Will, and on today's episode, we're going to be running through a handful of questions that you guys sent in on our Instagram, and we're going to try and give our best answers for them. So,
Mostly best. Roll the intro.
Best friends, and that's for life. Who stay traveling? I'm talking worldwide. 65 countries between the two. Every moment is so unbelievable. Sharing the best kept secrets about the trips and mistakes they made that they can't forget. So tell me if you're ready for a time to remember as they gear up for the next adventure. Yeah. Woo! Best kept secrets travel.
as you might be able to tell, this is very much a bonus episode. We are, for anyone listening on our podcast channel and not seeing us on YouTube, we are sat, not our usual studio.
Sat.
The first season studio is kind of non-existent now. It's
floor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
A lot of it.
half dead. So we are, we're rocking just, two lounge chairs,
Just
big
the
window,
Bits we're able to
backboard.
keep.
We've even lost we've lost the lighting for that. I've managed to
I
lose one.
swear it was
I
stuck.
don't know where one of the mugs is. So
I swear the lighting was stuck to that backboard.
it is. We've just missed the cable to actually light it up.
Oh,
that part,
fantastic.
the key part. So this is a very rogue, rough and ready episode, but we're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, and we were hoping to have moved out by now and have our new studio set up, and that's been a bit harder than we expected. So we're here, and a few days ago, it's probably more like a week now, I sent out on the BKS Travel Instagram for all you guys to send us some questions, and we're going to answer them because we need to prolong this season.
But Morgan, for those listening or viewing right now who don't already follow us on our Instagram, how can they find us on our socials?
The BKS Travel. They can rewind 30 seconds and listen to...
And it's going to be on the screen now. All the socials.
Again and again.
We got TikTok. We got the Gram. We're on all the podcast channels and outlets. We're on YouTube,
Outlets. How old are you?
We're pretty rough at this podcasting. It's been a little while.
Okay, let's get into the questions. Okay, so we'll both answer them.
Yeah.
But I've got them here, so I'll ask them. What are the best foods that you've had on your travels?
The best foods.
Do you think this has to be related to a country or just your best food?
My best food on travels. I've got memorable foods from when I've been fishing and then eating that later in the evening. They're some of the most memorable foods. I mean, we've done weird
That's
foods.
true. Well, the piranha, that was not
Piranha.
necessarily the best. The piranha, that was not necessarily the best food. It was tasty, but
And
you're right.
super memorable.
It was very memorable. But there are pizzas that I do remember very well.
Yeah, and we did mention them
remember.
in our
Pizza episode.
sports podcast.
Sports podcast. When did we start that?
The sports episode where we talk about us travelling around the world, and we spoke about going to Auckland for the rugby. We spoke about that
I
pizza.
remember that. What episode was that? Will?
I don't know, Morgan.
It was episode 22.
Oh, 22.
21 was Chernobyl.
Yep. Episode 22, we did speak about our pizzas. I actually really had that discussion today about food. I don't think it's just about the sheer quality of it. I think it's such a emotional and powerful thing that you could try food now and you haven't had it in years, and the second you smell it or the second you eat it, it suddenly can jump back a memory which you thought you'd forgotten.
Exactly like Ratatouille.
Exactly like Ratatouille.
Did you just watch Ratatouille? Is that what you're telling me?
I was sat in a pub eating a pie and we're discussing food.
Okay, but I'm telling you we should probably watch Ratatouille. I haven't watched that in years.
Yeah.
Okay,
what about yourself? What's your favourite? This isn't just an interrogation of my favourite
Well, I
foods.
said piranha and pizza.
They're your favourite travelling.
Pizzas have been the most
We've had a few
memorable.
pizzas. Yeah.
Whether it's been outside Eden Park or Rome or even Latvia.
Or Ruinabaki. That massive
That
pizza.
huge
It was like the size of this table. And we asked the manager, is it for one person? He looked at us and went, you could eat one each. And we just looked at each other like, that definitely means it's way too big to have one each. And it turned up and it was...
the size of the table,
yeah,
pretty
it was
much.
massive. It was like 3 times the size of a large Domino's. And we had all those beers with us. So there's no way we're going to finish that. Pizzas have had a key role in us.
Yeah, in our life.
In our travels. So, Morgan, what's our next question?
Have either of you been abroad or travelled since lockdown ended?
Yes.
Yes.
I've been since the main lockdown. So, God, because we had the lockdown we went into over Christmas.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been to Lisbon.
I went travelling before.
Yeah, I travelled in December. But I'm saying since the main lockdown.
Okay, so since the main lockdown.
Since the finale lockdown, most recent lockdown, I've been to Lisbon.
Hopefully finale. I have been to... So again, yes, I've been to Thessaloniki in Greece. And I've been to Albania in Tirana.
Yep.
I'm thinking Tirana. I've also been to Rhodes, and I'm going to 5 countries before the end of the year. Actually 6.
You're travelling this weekend?
So, I'm travelling this weekend. I'm going to Finland and Estonia. Then in 2 weekends after that, I'm going to Bulgaria. And then 2 weekends after that, I'm going to Moldova. And if you actually count it, Transnistria, which is an unrecognised country within Moldova.
Yeah.
And then before the end of the year, flying to Switzerland and going to France.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess that's 6, technically, if we say Switzerland and France.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
normally count it.
I would just count it as France, realistically.
Then sometimes we pop
But
over
I've been
to
to
Italy.
both, so... Oh, really?
Yeah. But what's your experience so far of travelling? More useful for our listeners and viewers. What's your experience so far since travelling lockdown? What have you found tough, and did anything go easier than you thought it would do? Or did you just think it was tough?
Yeah, so there are definitely some pros and cons, but there are some definite pros, which is good. The cons are it's a lot more complicated. Although the rules are getting better now, in the UK we always have to have tests when we come back. And because we have quite a high number of cases, we still have to often have tests before going, but not always. So there's lots of uncertainty there. But whilst you're out there, the big benefit I've found is that a lot of the really touristy attractions and locations are now not so busy, and they're not so touristy. So you get to really appreciate them and see them more as in their natural habitat, rather than feeling like you're sort of cattle moving through super crowded. So I think that's really good. But then on the flip side, whilst you're out there, a lot of the hostels, there aren't very many people there. Although that's not always the case, but lots of things are shut still, so it's not always.
I've heard some stories as well. So Lisbon, it was fine because I think quite a few people were going back there on an awful journey trying to get out there because EasyJet, and don't care if...
You changed airport, didn't you?
Yeah, because EasyJet decided that they were going to set different rules to the UK or Portuguese government the day I flew.
That makes sense.
So,
basically a
I've
country.
never in my life got to the gate of my flight and then been turned away, and about a third of our flight did. So then I quickly booked a flight, which I got 2 seats for £52 from Heathrow, and then about 10 minutes later, when loads of other people all of a sudden thought, I need to rebook flights, they then shot up to £400 a ticket.
So you went from Gatwick to Heathrow?
Yeah, so then jumped in an Uber with these two other people who were going to be on our flight, and then we just shared an Uber to Heathrow because they managed to get on our flight as well. And then big up what is it, Portuguese Air or something? I can't remember who it was, but way better than EasyJet. I'm sorry, EasyJet, but I want to use expletives right now to describe it.
EasyJet vouchers.
I know, Morgan, but if they ever try and sponsor us, then it's sort of gone down the drain. We want premium brands. Yeah. Can't sue us, though. So
Like Imodium.
And Amarula.
There's a bottle there.
So that was one thing. But I know a lot of people who, since lockdown and they've gone travelling, they've actually had weird experiences with locals where they've been some of the first sort of, when the country's just opened up from our perspective. They've got there and the locals haven't been that receptive to them being there positively because they think that they're bringing coronavirus to them and putting their country at risk.
And then I've had people who've come to the UK and they've said that it's really complicated to get here and it's actually putting a lot of people off coming here.
Yeah.
But then once they get here, the rules are most relaxed out of
a lot of places
because of the high vaccination rate.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what is your favourite National Trust site?
Ooh. Favourite National Trust site? I think purely because I've grown up around it.
I think I'm going to say the same thing.
You do? I think Box Hill's up there. Purely because of the memories and like growing up around it.
Because I've been so many times.
But if I exclude Box Hill, then that's where for me it gets a lot harder. Because there are, even some of the places I went in Ireland I thought were awesome. I love the fact like it was so simple and there's so little there, but at the same time it was so unique and amazing. Like Carrick Road Bridge.
I was about to say, I remember that from the National Trust
Absolutely
episode.
love that. We do talk about it in our National Trust episode. And
Which
what
was
episode's that?
10, obviously.
Episode 10, for anyone watching or listening who wants to learn a lot more about National Trust, what they do, why you should be a member of it, and the cost and price and all the benefits of joining it. Carrick Road Bridge, absolutely love that because it was super unique. They just preserved it in such a simple way, put up another rope bridge for people to still experience what it's like all those years ago, going across this tiny rope bridge to then go out fishing for salmon.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember you talking about fishing.
Yeah, so the Carrick Rope Bridge, the point was it was going to an island where they used to lower their boats in the water and then go out salmon fishing in the wasn't even the Irish Sea, it's the Atlantic Ocean, I think, that side of it.
Okay.
But it's sort of into the North Sea there.
Yeah.
God, someone can call me out on that, I don't know. But no, I think that's it for me. What about you? If it wasn't Box Hill, exclude Box Hill, what's your favourite National Trust site?
Off the top of my head, it would probably be Lundy Island.
Okay, yeah.
Because that was the puffins.
Oh, because you want to see puffins?
I'm desperate to see puffins. How long did it take before you saw a kangaroo in Oz?
I couldn't tell you.
Could you not?
Yes, I can.
It was in a field
No.
on the way. Wasn't? Did we not see them in a field on the way to Brett's?
What, from the airport?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I remember seeing one.
I was about to say, did we see them first in Taronga Zoo? Because that was day 2.
I do
That
feel
they
like I saw them. We saw them at a distance in a field.
So yeah, I to be honest, I can't remember when we first saw a kangaroo at all.
Well, that's good because they're not meant to be that memorable.
Well, there are more camels than kangaroos in Australia.
That is very true. How do you find secret locations in a country you know nothing about? Ask me.
No, I Google a lot. Just research like mad and just... You're not going to be the first to discover it, let's be honest. The chance of us being the first people ever to discover a secret location is non-existent. There are so many people out there who will know about them. I think locals are the best people in the world. I think locals are more likely to know about it than...
So if you're already out
just
there,
Google.
it's locals.
Yeah.
If Google's too broad...
TripAdvisor actually use a weird amount for it.
Do you?
Yeah.
I try and avoid that like the plague.
Yeah, but I think there are some hidden gems there. I think in general,
Yes, you can find some hidden gems. Yeah, I agree. With that,
but you like your TikToks and all that stuff. But I think if it's made it mainstream enough on TikTok for you to see it, then everyone's going to go and see it.
Not many people have gone to Prince Albert's Cairn, which I actually found out through Ali Law originally
On TikTok?
YouTube,
Okay.
and then saw it on TikTok later, which reminded me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to go to that.
Yeah, so I think for me it's Googling and TripAdvisor, and then but I just filter through Google. I even specifically look for more hidden gems than anything.
Yeah, I think YouTube's quite good as well, especially now with lots of travel creators. I mean, kind of like ourselves, I guess, trying to encourage people and teach people more about different locations. It makes it a lot easier to find.
Yeah, and I think when you're in the country, and if you've left flexibility, I think that's where the highest chance of discovering stuff which you'd never find online.
Yeah.
So how do you normally find it?
YouTube. From trying to get the best titles for these videos, I have learnt sort of the key phrases like best places to see, best things to do.
Yeah.
And you just sort of do that, or secret locations, or hidden gems, or most Instagrammable locations. For every place I go to, I always type in Urbex and then that city to find out, one, if there are any things to go see, or if there are any tours, because sometimes they have tours, and those tours are often hidden gems and some of the best experiences that I've had, for sure. Did you ever feel homesick whilst abroad?
No. Never. I think I get too excited when I'm overseas.
Yeah.
But it's different for you. Have you ever... Because I assume you haven't when you've been with mates, but have you ever got homesick when you've been solo travelling?
Yeah, that's true. Never when I've been with mates. I wouldn't say homesick. I'd probably use the word lonely.
Yeah.
There was definitely a time in Colombia, in Medellin, when I was there for such a long time, because I was trying to rest a bit, where I kind of came back after I was trying to plan to do some activities, and everyone in the hostel had been there for ages, so they'd all done all the activities and didn't want to, so I was doing it on my own. So then I did it, and then I came back and everyone was out doing something else, and at that point I felt lonely, but I didn't ever feel homesick.
I think I get too excited. I've been on trips where loads of people have been homesick.
Yeah, for me, I don't. There's too much going on. There's too many new things to experience. Not that I don't think about home, obviously. Mum, hi. Of course, I miss you. But yeah, no, I don't get.
No, I don't get
homesick. What's your number one bucket list activity?
Number one bucket list activity. I'm trying not to say a fishing one right now.
It's really hard. I think I've seen a video of it, and it would be the most ridiculous experience.
Yeah.
Would be to ski in Antarctica near penguins.
That'd be pretty cool.
I've seen a video of it, and I was just like, oh my god. I do want to do the ice plunge in Antarctica very badly. And sleep on Antarctica.
Yeah, sleeping under the stars in Antarctica. Skiing in Japan, down some of the mountains where you end up near the water's edge. Fly fishing for bonefish in Bahamas, I'd love to do.
What is a bonefish?
It's a weird, slightly see-through... Well, it looks see-through in the water, and you just see the fin of it, the shadow of the fin, or sometimes it's so shallow that the fin of the fish is sat out of the water. Then when you cast your fly right in front of it, when you're fly fishing, and it takes it, then it'll just strip hundreds of feet of your line within a few seconds. So acceleration is ridiculous. and then
that's
fighting
mad.
it. So that's a big goal, because
That'd be cool.
you get these steel bottom, flat bottom boats, and you just drift over this area, and you have a guide who points out where you need to cast, and then you just cast.
Oh, that's awesome.
That'd be really cool.
That sounds really fun.
Really been trying for a while. Really want to scuba dive or snorkel, and there to be a whale shark. I've tried a lot of times.
I was going to try and do that this year.
That's
I wanted to go to Mozambique to do it.
yeah. Tried it a lot of times. But whenever we've been, it's not been the premium time
The
of the year to
season,
do it.
yeah. I really wanted to do that this year.
That's right up there.
That was definitely up there for me, yeah. Scuba diving with
But
sharks.
Antarctica's probably at the top of your list, isn't it?
Yeah. Or maybe space.
What sort of scary, death-defying things at the top of your list?
Death-defying.
This Morgan's mum. Just mute the podcast at the moment.
It depends what you call death-defying. Well, not death-defying, really, but I'd love to swim in Devil's Pool.
Yep. Devil's Pool, for anyone who doesn't know, is a tiny little pool at the top of Victoria Falls on the Zambezi side. And when you jump in it, it looks from the Zimbabwean side as if you're jumping off the waterfall to kill yourself. So it's called Devil's Pool because once you're in it as well, you can overlook the edge of the waterfall.
I wouldn't call that death-defying, but I'd love to do that. What death-defying things do you want to do?
I think mine mainly... I think the more danger side all relate to skiing and snowboarding.
Yeah.
Just doing bigger and harder things.
Well, I guess there are countries and places that I'd like to visit that are...
Dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous. I'd love to visit Socotra.
Yeah.
Which is an island owned by Yemen. And it's referred to as the Galapagos of the Middle East. And it's meant to be one of the most biodiverse areas in the world. And it's miles away from Yemen. Yeah. I was discussing this morning with my dad skiing, so it's a skiing one, in Iran, which is actually quite popular and very amazing.
And so skiing in Turkey.
Yeah,
That'd be amazing.
Seen that. So it seems a lot of skiing ones. In season 2, we're definitely going to do a skiing episode. It seems.
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah, or 1 or 2. We'll move on to the next question because I think we could probably discuss bucket list locations for about 15
it won't end up being our number one bucket list. It'll just be working through our full bucket list.
What's your favourite drink you've had whilst travelling?
Ooh.
I think even drink to a certain extent you have a memory with as well. Like
100% memory based.
Yeah.
I've had so many times. Like times I've drunk Amarula. Oh, get it.
Have you finished your glass?
To sponsor this channel.
Or is it empty?
No, it's very much full. Maybe I'll start drinking Amarula on this podcast. Because I'd love for them to sponsor, because it is the nicest and best drink around.
Who owns Amarula?
Me. I think Amarula, I've got amazing memories in Africa. I've also got, I'd say some of my favourite drink-based memories whilst travelling have been, like, cocktails. When you're at a bar in the middle of nowhere, and my brother and I have just worked through the cocktail list. But then there are certain times where it's just been so funny. But then there have been times where, like, you and I have just had really intense few days and we're absolutely chattered, and we've just sat down and had a beer. Even the really cheap beers in the camper van in New Zealand were hilarious.
They were great fun. And I guess it's alcohol related, but it's that night on the way to Machu Picchu with the rum and coke.
Yeah.
Wasn't even good rum, but that night.
What about the lemonade in the Amazon?
Oh, that was fantastic.
You're driving, so can't really drink it.
The
lemonade in the Amazon was up there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's something we'll never experience again.
No.
I mean, all that weird crab whiskey in the favela in Brazil, where we're in the middle of this in the biggest favela in Rio de Janeiro, and we were told, "Oh, you guys should try this. It's a really traditional sort of favela-styled spirit." And I think I was the first to try it. I felt I just sort of had to go for it because it looked more like whiskey, so I thought I'd commit to it. And it was a whole crab with just a massive claw inside of this bottle. Oh, that was like drinking petrol.
Well, and then in Vietnam, there's snake wine and all this rice whiskey.
Did you try it whilst you were out there?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
No.
No.
You can get all these really lovely cheap beers, or you can get cheap, not so lovely
Snake wine.
But you got to do it, and it is quite nice. And then Pisco.
Yeah, I had Pisco sours.
We enjoyed a lot of Pisco.
I think these are no longer favourite things. We're just reminiscing about all the times
about some of the
we've eaten, drunk. Instead of favourite top of the bucket list, it's our whole bucket list we're just working through.
What's the least favourite country you've visited?
Mauritius.
Apart from Scotland.
No, I really like Scotland.
Yeah, so do I.
Mauritius.
And why?
Because I don't remember any of it. Not because I was blackout drunk.
Yeah,
because we went for a week-long holiday.
Baby.
No, I was probably, relative term, feels like a baby. I was probably between
19.
10 and 12 years old.
Okay.
Turned up, landed, got to a hotel. Then I was in the hotel room for about 20 minutes and I just started vomiting.
No.
Then I got rushed to hospital.
So it's a bit like mine. It's not really to do with the country.
No, it was the fact that I was on a drip in a hospital for the whole holiday.
Well, yeah.
I got discharged the night before we had to leave.
So mine is Denmark.
Really?
Nothing to do with the country.
Were you ill as well?
It was the Red Bull Can You Make It challenge, and that was just our hardest period where we weren't able to get out of Copenhagen.
Why? No one helped you?
No one helped us. And it was a time where members of our team were really struggling.
Yeah.
Does
that tell you something about the country, though, that no one would help you? I'm not saying anything bad, but, you didn't help.
But I definitely do want to go back to Denmark. I just need to
I'd love to go to Copenhagen.
Do it without seeing Copenhagen. Oh, yeah, go to Copenhagen.
I'd love to go to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Like Mauritius, probably really lovely. Would I go back? Probably not, because I'm now terrified that I'll just end up being really ill again.
No, I have to go back and do Denmark properly and enjoy it. But yeah, for the moment, it's my least favourite. Have you ever fallen out with each other whilst travelling?
We haven't really. We've punched each other once. But that's because we were both drunk and I was winding you up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really punching each other. It was just like play hitting each other.
No, the closest we got was in Brazil.
Last night?
When I had the migraine.
Oh yeah, you were just ill. And I was winding up saying, you can't do this on our last night.
I remember
when you were fun.
I had an awful migraine and Will was an awful person and just kept hitting me in the back of the head and telling me, I remember when you were fun. And because it was our last night, I said to myself, normally obviously I not lead, but I'll say, right, let's do this, let's do blah blah blah, and get overexcited. Obviously my excitement levels were a bit lower, but I wasn't going to not do anything because it was our last night, so I just went out there and
we did the football. We had a fair few drinks.
Very loud football.
It was when we were leaving the migraine really settled in, and it was getting quite late, and then we started to realise actually we need to be up really early in the morning. So it was more justifiable by that point to go to sleep. Because we didn't have a big night that night.
No. I
think I had a beer, maybe two, when I got back to the hostel.
And I had lots of water. And I woke up that morning with 4 people looking over my bunk bed because I had the aircon above my bed and it had turned off in the night and they were working out how to turn it back on. And I just sort of woke up and opened my eyes and there were like 3 people there and I was like, and just sort of turned back around.
Yeah, we've never really fallen out.
No.
I think that's the thing with travelling.
I've tried.
With a really close mate though, is that's kind of the key. Even when I spoke to my brother and him and his mate Twiggy, when I said, "Oh, did you guys really fall out?" And he just went, "I think the only time one of us raised our voice at the other
was when he stood on the twig."
I think one of them was reversing and the other one thought they were going to hit something because they're both really tired. And then he just raised a voice and I think that was it. Whereas
no, we've never raised a voice.
We've seen a lot of arguments of other people travelling together.
Bar your voice is always raised.
We've always seen people arguing though. And couples falling out and everything. We've seen a lot of drama.
Oh, we've seen
breakups. We've seen it.
Ken's was one of the ones I quite remember.
Yeah, I'm not liable for that.
That was quite a big one. But they still seem to be friends on Facebook, so
just not together. But yeah, I think that's it. Is when you're traveling, you'd have to do something really special to get an argument, or you've gone traveling with someone where you just don't really click that well, or you have very different personalities.
Yeah, and I think what helps with us is that we've grown up together, we've travelled a lot together, been on holidays together even before that, so we know each other very well. When you're travelling with someone you don't necessarily know that well, then it's where you don't know that they might get hangry or they want to get a taxi instead of walk around the city and things like that. And that's when arguments can start.
I think it's normally when people you haven't even necessarily set off travelling yet. You need to understand how the other person wants to travel first.
Yeah.
Because you either travel on a complete budget where you end up walking half the place instead of spending £10 on a taxi.
Sounds fun.
£5-10. Like we've walked 10, 12k just to get to the airport because we realised, I've got 3 hours until our flight. Let's just walk it. And we've done really stupid things, whereas some people just never do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where there's the understanding of before you travel, and this is definitely a best kept secret for people out there, is understand what you both want from the adventure and how you want to travel before you even get on the plane or the boat or the turtle or whatever you're travelling with. Make sure you actually understand that, otherwise you will have big arguments.
Now, our final question for this episode. Well, probably I might ask some more.
Boom.
Do you have any guests planned for the podcast?
We do.
Hi, Mum.
We do have guest plans for the podcast because season 2 of this podcast, which will happen and start after our bonus episodes.
Whenever they end.
Yeah, whenever we just... The bonus episodes might become their own mini season in between us all. Because I think the bonus episodes will probably keep going on until we've moved and set up a studio. So the bonus episodes are... We have not moved yet.
Well, we've moved from the old studio to here.
Yeah. To temporary studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we do have people ready and lined up because season 2 we're going to be jam-packing it with interviews, more in-depth and slightly different styled episodes.
We're also going to do slightly shorter episodes.
A lot of feedback is people want it sort of 30 to 40 minute at max for car journey kind of episode.
So what we're going to do is if we do film episodes like the deep dives, it's kind of hard. It's not really a deep dive if it is that short. So what we're going to do is we're just going to split it up into separate parts and we'll either post them one after the other or randomly, intermittently.
Yeah.
Undecided. Feedback is definitely welcome.
No, we're going to bring in guests who we've either met travelling, very close to us, and we haven't necessarily travelled with them, but we think they've got super exciting stories, or they've potentially moved country completely to travel and set up and then ended up staying there and setting up, having a family out there and staying there, having a job, and just super interested for people out there watching and listening to us to learn very different types of traveling, because it doesn't always end up being you travel away for a month. You end up sometimes staying there and meeting someone out there and being there the rest of your life, and lots of different things can happen. Or we've got some really crazy friends who have gone and done nuts things, and they're going to be a very different episode to the very wholesome to the insane to crazy episodes that we're going to do in between.
And also we will do interviews and chats with some of the other podcasters we've met.
We will.
And some of the other people and friends that we've met on Instagram and TikTok. So there will be some people that maybe we haven't met in person.
Yeah, I think we'll have a few of those.
Yeah.
Big shout out to some of the first people we ever
David
spoke to.
Attenborough. Oh, sorry.
Bear Grylls? No, Gap Year Diaries. They're some of the first people we ever spoke to. They just hit a little milestone for theirs. They've hit 1,500 downloads on their podcast.
They're doing very well. And I enjoy their episodes a lot. And
it is terrifyingly like the female version of us, Morgan.
It is.
Scarily so.
It is very scary. Although I don't think, touch wood, we've lost our passport.
No.
Yeah.
Can't not say anything bad. Holding it in.
No, we haven't lost our passport.
Never lost passport.
But it is a very good podcast that we do enjoy listening to.
And we'll be able to quiz them and see what their experiences are and how they've differed to us.
Yeah.
As amongst as everyone else.
Yeah.
But if there's anyone out there watching and listening now and you think that you've got an interesting story, or you know someone who would be great to interview,
or have contacts with very famous people,
like David Attenborough, Bear Grylls,
Han Solo, what?
Jeff Bezos,
Yeah. Elon Musk,
Tony Stark, Hulk,
yeah. Captain Marvel travels a lot.
Yep.
As does
Jackie Chan did as well, because he went around the world in 80 days.
That is true.
I think a fair few people.
Or Neo from The Matrix.
Right, this bonus podcast has gone slightly off track and slightly whack, but
It has. But thank you very much for watching, and from both of us, I hope that you enjoyed the main episodes from season 1, and I hope you stay for more.
All 23 of the main ones.
And now listen. No. I'm kidding. Well, actually, for some of the bonus episodes, we might do little summaries and talk through what we thought about each episode.
Yeah, we could delve into different areas, but to be honest, these bonus episodes are going to be very much more off the cuff and
They are
just casual conversation. But remember, for every not every
we need a tree update.
Yeah, we do. I was just about to talk about the trees, because for anyone who's just joining us, and sadly for you, you've joined us on a bonus episode.
Bonus episodes where we're showing off our socks.
For every 50 downloads on a podcast, we're planting a tree. For every 100 subscribers on YouTube, we're also planting a tree.
So I have red with black sort of polka dots.
I think I've got sharks.
It's because you were talking about the whale sharks.
Yeah, I've got sharks on my socks. Can anyone see them? They're my socks. I'm sorry if you've got a foot phobia or fetish.
And luckily you can't smell them.
Actually, I'm not so sorry if you've got a foot fetish. I sort of freaked out. If you've got a foot phobia, then I'm sorry.
I think it's definitely time that we just roll the outro at this point.
Let's go!
Yeah, let's make it happen. I hope that you can handle going on adventures, best kept secret travels. Yeah, all over the globe, having fun, you know the deal. Amazing secret locations, hang out with Morgan and Will. Educate and entertain, haggle in the market, sharing their experiences. Time to get it started. Let's go.